1-point margins and drama on the Collard. It was a sensational weekend of schoolboy rugby. We discuss all that tonight on Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. Hello and welcome to another episode of Rugby on 216, joined as always by Sput and Cooks. Guys, what a weekend of rugby we've had. We're going to get into the picks, but just before that,
but also
how are you feeling?
I don't like when you say join as always. I've always been here. Sput has not. Let's not forget that. I don't want us to remember that Sput just didn't work for 2 weeks.
Cooks, I know we're going to be missing you in a couple weeks' time, and would you just like to tell everyone why that?
Before he gets there, you know what? I told him yesterday that I'm going to miss him while he's gone. I take everything back. I can't wait for him to go because he starts every episode in the last 4 weeks with abuse. And even the people with the thickest skins in the world, eventually it tells, Eventually you go and you're like, I don't know.
Oh, but we are going to miss you when you're gone, Cooks, all the way to the UK for the World Test Championship final. I'm sure that's going to be...
schoolboy rugby does come first, but only for that week we'll do some cricket.
So because of all his abuse, I'm going to look you in the eye and say, I hope it starts raining the day before the Affies final. And it stops the day after. I hope you don't see a ball. No, I'm just joking. Oh, buddy, it's going to be brilliant. It's good to have you. So Rugby on 216 will even be represented at the World Test Championship.
Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. Well, let's talk about a weekend that was great for some teams. For you guys, not so much with the picks. 2 from 5. It's the lowest so far. It is the 14th episode, though, so to take this long for you guys to dip under 50% for a week...
That's such a backhanded compliment from
it shows how difficult it is.
Bad,
but it's not that bad.
This is what you've done.
But you've done so well up until now.
Look, I really appreciate the way you put it, but I want to start off by telling you that if you didn't know, people watch. People watch, and if myself or Cooks go to Vanderbijl Park next week and we're in trouble, we'll need an escort, we'll need armed guards, because the people in Vanderbijl's not happy with the two of us going against Transvalia. But
47-27, do you blame them?
No, I don't blame them at all. Listen, I saw some of the comments, and I have to say, where's the camera? I am sorry, Vanderbijl Park and Transvalia, because that's a demolition. 47-27. Away from home. And here's the wonderful thing for me, for the STC Noordwal and the rest of the season, but also for years to come. We've mentioned it a lot of times in this year where we said the likes of Nelspruit, Transvalia is back in the cap section now, and the side sort of out of Pretoria, Rustenburg. They used to be brilliant at home, but then struggle on the road. Our statement made by Transvalia saying, Sput, you thought we can't travel. Cooksy, you thought when we go away from home, we're losing against Menlo Park, who's been having a good season. Yeah. But no, the folks, and they questioned us last week already. They said, what if Transvalia wins? Or not what if, when they win, what are you going to say? And brilliant performance.
And we got a proper now what after, which I like. When it shows the guys are watching, I enjoy the comments. But the funny thing is, Sput and I mentioned a few weeks ago in the STC Noordwal Cup is that it seems like a tournament where the home side tends to win most of it. Like sides don't travel well, so for them to go to Menlo Park, who has been having a great season, to go and win there, it's an incredible effort, and it's one where I'm happy to eat the humble pie.
Yeah, me too, but I want to almost liken Menlo Park's season a bit to Noordwal. we speak about them having a great season because they're having, but they're still on the wrong side of the result quite often. You know, and that's one thing. It's one thing, Alex, for all rugby programs to step up a level, because that's relatively easy. You know, good solid investment, good structure, good coaching, and you'll see dividends quickly.
Yeah.
But taking that next level to the next level, you've become competitive. Great. Are you winning? And that's the big thing, you know. So it's almost for a rugby program that is under pressure, or that were under pressure. You've got 2 steps to climb. One, become competitive. That might be a 1-year project, because in a year's time you can become competitive. But it might be a 3 or a 4-year project to come out on the right end of the close results then, like Noordheuvel this year, a bit like Menlo Park. They drew to Waterkloof in a final. You know, they've lost narrowly on a couple of times. They need to now win those games.
Then down in the Eastern Cape, Framesby Pearson, a 19-all draw. And it wasn't the only close game down in the Eastern Cape. Graham beat Nico Milan 43-42, and St Andrews College beat Grey High 28-27. It was all looking quite close, but your pick, both of you, unfortunately getting that one wrong.
A lot of drama in the Eastern Cape in the weekend. I mean, you look at, this game, Pearson getting a try in the last minute and converting to make it 19-all. The folks from Pearson, they're adamant that they should have won that game. They had chances to win, and they were better than Framesby in the day. I got a few messages from the Pearson staff yesterday, Raymond Hamilton on my case, saying, "We saw your picks again." Like, you know, it's tough. It's tough when the picks go wrong for putting up, because we get the phone calls, but just very happy for Pearson. You know, Pearson is trying to bridge the gap between where Grey and Framesby are, and results like that plays a massive favour. It means that the investment they've put in over the years is starting to pay dividends. And for me, I'm just very happy for them. And for Framesby, obviously, it's been a tough year, but yeah, you talk about the other 2 fixtures. I mean, the Sons of the Leopard, what a nickname. Graham getting a great win over a good Nico Milan side. And Grey and St Andrews, I mean, Alex, having grown up in Quebec, I'll tell you one thing. The Grey boys, if there's one team that do not want to lose to, it's St Andrews. It's a big rivalry. It's not spoken to about as much, but if you're from down the Eastern Cape, the Snoozles and the Grey boys, they don't like each other at all. So for St Andrews, massive result. I mean, they're having a quietly good year as well.
Yeah.
They both went down to Queens. So for St Andrews to go down to the Sekolisi field and get a win, proper.
Yeah, close stuff down in the Eastern Cape. Then the only match that was definitively in your guys' favour on the weekend, Maritzburg College, Kearsney, 35-20 to Maritzburg College.
Yeah, we know our rugby. I mean, I rate this college side. I really do. I think the start of the season, sort of, they weren't firing as they can. If you look at the last 4 weeks, they've been full value. You know, there was a 1-point loss against Westville, who's top dogs in KZN. And there's been victories on the road. There's now a victory at Reunion Day at home, which brings its own sorts of pressure, but showed the class to come out 35-20. So for me, I like this Maritzburg College side. And I've sort of said that from the start of the season. I've seen glimpses that if they put everything together, they can be a force.
Cook, so it's the first time you've picked Maritzburg College and they've rewarded you for it?
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. But for me, it's very simple with Maritzburg College at the moment. New staff, Nico Beard coming in. They're starting to get the ground with the system. They're starting to get the change. You can see it now. As the years gone, they've gotten better and better and better. And not too long from now, I think College can be back in that mix of being the top dogs in KZN again. They're probably very hungry to get their title back. But yeah, what a win for them.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get to it. We're going to get to it, Jeppe Affies, but let's just talk Pretoria boys, Michaelhouse quickly. Another one that you guys got wrong, 31-24 to Michaelhouse, both picked Pretoria boys.
Sir, I'm raising my hand, sir. That's why I said Michael boys I. Because that was the one that I was literally unsure of. And when I got home, my wife told me, I told her this, you should have gone Michaelhouse. Because that was your first instinct there.
Yes.
It's almost like you
In
know,
the
when
possible
you,
truth.
in the possible
Trust
truth.
yourself, yeah.
My first instinct was Michaelhouse. And I found a way to convince myself that boys I will get the victory at home. And I think it was much the same for Cooks, you know. Still, it's a close game. At this stage, I think Michaelhouse led 31-12, if I'm not mistaken. So Boys Eye did come back at them, Pretoria Boys Eye. But Michaelhouse is also a side this year. They go, You know, they're not consistent, but every now and then they put out a performance. And this was a performance on the road. So I'll gladly put on a Michaelhouse jumper later on and apologize for the wrong call. Unfortunately, I don't have a Transvalia one. Otherwise, I would have started the show with it.
Let's talk about it then. Jeppe, Affies, you guys were both there for what must have been a couple difficult moments. You guys were nearly looking at 1 out of 5. But then right at the end, a penalty for Affies sealed it at 38-36 and an amazing game of rugby.
You know what? I said it's put when we left Affies, we left Jeppe, and I said that could be the best game I've seen this year because it had everything. There was history on the line. Jeppe has never been Affies before. They were down the snake pit. It was full. There was drama. There was tries. But a controversy with the clock. Like everything you needed to tell a good story. There was drop goals. That game had everything. You know, how well Jeppe played yesterday they were incredible. They had a plan, stuck to it. Their plan worked for 69 minutes and 45 seconds. Had a plan, stuck to it. But for me, also with Affies, it's the composure to keep fighting because Affies won the game, lost the game, won the game, lost the game, won. They won it 3 times.
Yeah.
And they found ways to win it. Ruben Krumah steps up and puts it over in the corner. Steve McDonald, another monster of the game, king of the match yesterday. But Affies, you know, they found a way to win, got a chance into it. But it's a great game of rugby and a game where, like I said to you, had fun. So many turns. I mean, I was standing on the scaffold with Poulton and like it's how we're commentating. I think Sput had about 5 Suzuki game-changing moments in about 4 minutes.
In 4 minutes.
In 4 minutes, yeah.
So I'm still not sure what I called it there. I think it was the criminal penalty to win it, to be honest. But 2 things stood out for me. Is Jeppe matched Affies up front.
Yes. And you said last week if they were able to do that, it would be a big point in their favour.
Andre Poulton is a beast. First game back in the starting lineup, he played for the South African Schools A side last year. He switches between loose head and tight head effortlessly in the game. You don't even notice the switches in commentary sometimes because he's not going backwards when he's at tight head. He's definitely going forward when he's at loose head. So he is a better loose head than tight head. I'll get that out there right from the get-go.
Yeah.
But he gives you that option. So all of a sudden, he becomes a great guy to have in the squad, to have in the match day 23. He won't necessarily start every game, but he'll be there because he gives you options. He gives you the chance of almost doing a Shaun Erasmus, you know, in your front row because you can now manipulate who's on, who's off. You know, you can switch him to tight head if you need to give somebody a 10-minute breather. He's more than adequate to do that. So that stood out. The pack of forwards matched Affies. Grady and Gui, my new favourite story. I spoke to Dale Jackson, the headmaster of Jeppe, before the game, and he told me about Grady and Gui and his circumstances. A kid that lives in Johannesburg CBD. When they come back from tours, sometimes late at night, they offer him to stay over at hostel at school, and he says, "No, I can't leave my mom alone. I'm taking care of her." You know, and for him to come out of those circumstances, he was a behemoth yesterday. He dominated the physical exchanges, and he's not a massive oak, you know, but he's tough. He's tough. So 2 of the schools in South Africa I respect the most for different reasons, for varying reasons, and it was one of the most special schoolboy rugby days I've ever been to, and I've been to a few. And 2018, Affies won by a couple of points on the Collard. 2023, Affies wins by a couple of points on the Collard. 2025, Affies wins by 2 with a penalty in the dying set. Well, after time is gone.
Yeah.
Correctly awarded, by the way. Offside, the normal, trying to catch it, knocks it on. play in front of him plays it. Nothing he could have done. It's a reactionary grab at the ball. Up steps Ruben Groenewald, ice in his veins. He's missed 3 on the day, so he's not striking it as purely as it is. It's not right out in front. It's about 10 meters from the right-hand touchline. Steps up, slots it, grab your win, and go. That's the message from Affies. They weren't at their best. Still, they managed to beat a fired-up Jeppe side. I feel for Driekus Venter, I feel for Dan van der Merwe, and I feel for Pieter Ngubeni. But I'll tell you what, it's a classy place. The message Dale Jackson sent to his old boys after the game, the Theo Jackson Fund that him and Craig Jackson started in 2005, that has put 120 boys through Jeppe, 50 scholars currently on that Theo Jackson Fund in Jeppe now, and Dale Jackson, we all know, moving on to St. John's next year. It's a massive loss for Jeppe because he's a quality headmaster, and it's one of my favourite schools to visit.
Absolutely. And incredible rugby played by them yesterday, which rounds off our picks. 2 out of 5. These were the stats last week. Savor them. Savor it. Because as at the 31st of May...
I tried to do the maths yesterday. I'm like, I think I'm going to 69, 68. I did not think 67%.
That's put 72. It's the lowest you've been.
It is the lowest I've been,
But still 70.
yeah, I'm sort of, I keep on mentioning it. 70% has always been my 80% when it came to academics. 70 has always been.
But I'm actually just 2 games off.
You're just 2.
You just do.
So those 2 Maritzburg College picks.
Yeah, those 2 Maritzburg College picks. You maybe will get a chance when we make our picks later.
So I'm never going against Transvalia again, and you never going against Maritzburg.
I don't care who they play.
Everyone gets so upset with you guys, but you get the vast majority correct.
No, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I want to put something out there, and I was thinking about this. Look, Alexander the Great, as we're calling him today, aka wet wipe. He knows that, usually when I'm done, I'm done. When I walk out of the commentary box, that is behind me. And when I've made my picks, that is behind me. You carry on. You've got other things to do. But this kept me busy last night. It kept me thinking, going, in the current climate of South African schoolboy rugby, the competitiveness, how competitive it is. If we're getting 3 out of 4 of our picks right, we're all right.
Yeah.
We're all right. It's all right. I'm going to get it.
Just not this week.
No, I'm going to get it up to 75. You're going to join me at 75 soon. If we finish the year at 75%, that's mine. I'll take it and run.
That can go on our big picks board for the big calls.
Yeah,
that you
I want
guys
to
will
finish
end
at
with
75 because I'm more than happy to get 1 out of 4 wrong. I'm more than happy to take flack once a week out of Thunderbale Park and KZN. That's all right. That's all right. That leaves me plenty of space in the country to travel.
Yeah. Well, talking about that, you're going to make your picks next. But before that, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We were lost for 3 days. I told him to ration the water, but he somehow went and drank every last drop in the first hour. I have a family.
We urge the public to remain calm. There is no leak. However, we have identified a thirsty individual who's responsible for this water crisis in the Western Cape.
You almost left Brackenfell for Waterkloof just because of the name. Almost.
Jason, is this true?
Yeah, that's true. I am thirsty.
In a world where every second counts, will he make it on time? Out here on the streets, anything can happen when the odds are stacked against you. One man finds the will, the drive, the passion to steer his path to destiny. It's a Swift.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, and we at the Collard field of Jeppe High School for Boys, where Affies just escaped with one, winning about 38 points to 36, thanks to a last gasp penalty by their captain, Ruben Groenewald. And I'm joined here by Ruben and Stefan McDonald. Stefan, hallo. Ruben, goed en julle?
Dank meneer.
Dit was so 'n bietjie harder as wat baie mense verwag het.
Ja nee, verseker man.
Stefan?
Ek dink en ons het baie harder geoefen, soos ek vir daar gesit in die interview as wat die telling eintlik was, maar as Jeppe het vir ons gekom en ons het eintlik geweet hulle gaan kom en goed, maar ek dink nie die telling kan so uitdraai nie.
Ruben, kyk, jy gaan nou eers my met vertel. Jy begin die wedstryd baie goed, skop alles oor en toe in die middel van die wedstryd so 'n bietjie van 'n insinking, 2-3 skoppe nie heeltemal na plan nie. Wat gaan deur jou se gedagtes? Jy stel die bal, jy weet, is alles op jou skouers.
Ja, nee. Obviously, deur die week oefen jy baie, so baie skoppe geoefen en goed. En maar eerste twee lekker mooi oorgeskop. En dan verlies ek dink raak jy so 'n bietjie gerus. Dat hulle dalk bietjie by 2-3 mis. Maar ja, daar gaan bal stel. Vra ek dit vir die hele veld en weet ek seker gaan skop dan weer dit.
Ja, dis altyd daai, dis snaaks jou in daai situasies begin bid, Stefan, want dit is dis jou eerste want jy voel so half o, jette, wat nou? Verstaan jy? Maar ek wil so 'n bietjie met julle gesels ook, goeie seisoen vir Affies. 2 verlore, dit gebeur met almal, veral met hoe naby dinge nou is. Stefan, maar wat se games is oor vir julle hierdie jaar en waarna sien jy nog uit?
Ek sien baie uit vir Waterkloof. Obviously daar's 'n paar persoonlike battles wat ons fight daar in Waterkloof en goed en natuurlik Maritzburg gaan ook baie hard wees en ons finale game boys high, ek dink op ons eie velde gaan ook iets is om te onthou want dis ons laaste game saam as broers en goed, so ja, ek sien eintlik baie uit vir die volgende paar games wat so het.
Kom ons praat gou 'n bietjie Kruiwenweek en Bulle Rugby. Julle gaan oor 'n week of wat speel julle teen die Sharks in Durban. As die Bulle, beide van julle op hierdie stadium in daai A-span wil hou sê die Kruiwenweek span. Ruben, dis iets waarvoor ou jou hele skoolloopbaan werk, né?
Ja, nee, verseker, né. Dit is ek moet sê soos jy werk die hele jaar daarvoor, so om te genoem word in 'n span is iets besonders dink ek.
Jy is nou natuurlik in die posisie waar jou pa ook baie rugby gespeel en is dit iets waaroor jy baie gesels, jy en hy by die huis, is hy een van daai ouens wat jou regtig baie help?
Ja, nee, verseker. Ek en my pa, soos ek dink ons praat nie rugby as ons op pad is nie. En vandat ek nou my lisensie het, so ons chat heeltyd rugby. Maar ja, nee, hy het baie groot invloed op my lewe in rugby en coach my baie goed so.
Stefan, ek wil daai selfe vraag vir jou vra. Ons is so besig met 'n ietsie waar ons daai vraag vra. Wie is jou grootste ondersteuner? Wie is die mense wat regtig agter jou staan en seker maak voor jy jou lisensie gehad het as jy hom al het, dat jy by die oefeninge uitkom, wie pak daai kosblikkie? Wie is jou groot ondersteuners?
So natuurlik, ek het my twee broers wat ook altyd, hulle is in graad 8, so hulle is altyd maak nie saak waar ek is nie, is hulle daar. En natuurlik my ma, sy kyk ook waar sy kan en goed en my pa ook, hy's al van die rugby daar vir sy elke game daarso en natuurlik my oupa het ook vir die Pumas en goed gespeel paar jaar terug en goed, so dis ook iemand wat ek lekker na kan opkyk. Nee.
Ek wil terugkom nou na hierdie wedstryd wat ons vandag gehad het, Ruben. Wat het jy weet as 'n kaptein, ou kom redelik vroeg in 'n wedstryd agter dinge loop reg of dinge loop nie reg nie. Wanneer in vandag se wedstryd het jy so half vermoed o, gata, hier kom dalk 'n bietjie moeilikheid?
Ek voel ons het baie goed begin. Hulle het 'n goeie 3 gedruk aan die begin, so ek was nog gerus daar, maar daai tweede 3 van hulle toe voel ek is Jeppe kom vir ons en ons het dit geweet soos wat Stefan gesê het, maar ek dink toe weet ek okay, vandag gaan 'n lang dag wees as ons nie ons game speel en net fokus op wat ons moet doen nie. So ja, van toe af wil jy maar net die manne probeer rustig hou. Stiek by wat jy geoefen het en dit is waar jy kan terugval.
Stefan, jy het Grandkamer week gespeel in 2023, so provinsiale rugby is nie vir jou 'n nuwe ding nie. Maar ons almal wat baie skole rugby kyk en rugby on 216 voel jy het 'n ongelooflike seisoen hierdie jaar. Is daar goed waaraan jy spesifiek werk in die week om elke Saterdag na Saterdag op topvorm te wees?
Ja, ek voel van 'n jong ouderdom af kan ek baie goed meters maak as ek die bal het en goed, maar ek moet sê defense dis nou nie my sterkpunt. Tot eintlik hierdie jaar het ek baie hard net eintlik op dit gefokus en goed en ek voel dis ook dis waar ek momentum kan verander in die game en goed. So dit is obviously nog goed wat ek kan werk is die positive hits en momentum verander en dink goed is dit.
Nou kyk man, skole rugby in Suid-Afrika het baie verander, né? Dis alles op TV, dis baie professioneel en goed. Wat sê julle nou vir daai standaard 6, daai jong billetjies wat almal wit bulle wil word en op boereplaas speel en selfs van die laerskoolouens vir julle het nou vir hulle helde geword. Ja. So Ruben, wat sê julle vir daai oudjies van 10, 11, 12 wat eendag droom om vir die wit bulle te speel of om dalk vir Waterkloof te speel of waar moet hulle werk?
Ja, maar ek het eintlik voor die game met my chommies oor gepraat, so skole rugby het heeltemal verander, soos ons sê. Maar ek dink as jy daai kan amper net vasgryp en sê, luister maar daai kyk ook vir na jou. Hoe kan ek 'n voorbeeld van wees en dalk na die game gou na hom toe gaan en vir hom sê, luister, maar net aan werk. Want soos ja, ek weet nie, ken obvious lief vir Jeppe Hating.
Ja.
14 eerspan vla af begin en graad 11 jaar speel hy kry 'n week in witbulle. En dit was net deur 'n meneer wat na hom toe gegaan het of een van sy helde en gesê, luister, hou net aan werk. So ek dink as jy daar invloed op kan jy.
Jy praat net van Jeppe Hating wat onder 14 nog loskakel gespeel het. Nou speel hy slot natuurlik en hy het dit ver gebring. So gaan jy nou in senior rugby 'n slot word of hoe werk dit? Of was jy gesettel op loskakel?
Ek dink ek sou settle op loskakel, maar mens weet nooit.
Hulle kyk dit laat my nou terugdink aan daai Leon Schuster fliek baie lank terug wat hulle vir die ou gesê het hy's te kort vir slot. Toe sê hy moenie worry nie, hy spring net in die kortlyn staan. Hoorie manne, baie sterkte vir Kruiven week. Baie dankie vir die plesier wat julle naweek in en naweek uit vir die kykers gee en baie dankie dat julle my ou skool 'n kans gegee het om te wen aan Bloemfontein. Ek waardeer dit baie. Ek moes dit daar net inkry, verstaan. Maar baie geluk met 'n baie goeie seisoen en ons hou vir julle dop by Kruiven week en ons hoop dit gaan baie goed.
Dankie net.
It's the men from Affies, Ruben Groenewald and Stefan McDonald. They escaped with a win at Jeppe today on the Collard field, winning by 38 points to 36.
Joined here by Andre Poulton here at Jeppe after a crack-up between Afrikaans and Jeppe, and unfortunately Jeppe going on the wrong side of that game, going down 38-36. I'm joined by their prop, SS Bulls last year, and Craven player Andre Poulton. Andre, let's talk about today first. It's tough one. It's tough to take. Drop goal, you think you have it, and then it's tough. How are the boys feeling?
Well, actually, sir, the boys are not. They're in the right state of mind, sir, but we're heartbroken, sir. We're heartbroken, sir, because we trained this whole week for this, because we've been manifesting since last week that we're going to win this game, but then God has other plans, sir.
Tell me, just tell me about this group you guys have. I mean, it's a young group. Last year you were the youngster, but now you eventually all fair. There's only 5 matrics. Tell me about this group for me. Myself and my colleagues would always say that Jeppe never goes away. You always stay in the fun. What makes those groups so special?
So I feel like because we have youngsters, sir, they have a lot of energy and they're enthusiastic, sir.
They're keeping you busy?
Keeping us busy, sir. They're keeping us on our toes as seniors. So there's a higher level of expectation for us. And that's what keeps on driving us forward and forward and forward, because we want to leave Jeppe in a better place as seniors. So that's what keeps us driving forward, sir.
You talk about driving standards, Andre. I mean, you guys obviously had a fantastic season last year. How do you keep up those standards as seniors and making sure these guys, they understand what it means and what it takes to play and wear that jersey?
Basically, so it's the seniors from last year when we juniors that set the standard. And then from there, we just raise the bar. So as the Jeppe, we always have this thing of saying, leave the jersey in a better place. So that's what we try to do each generation, sir.
Thanks, Andre. I mean, this is a man we'll hopefully see in green and gold again, and also representing the Lions at Craven. You just did a tough day for them, but knowing Jeppe, knowing these guys, they will bounce back. But there's still more to come here on Rugby on 216. We'll be back after this.
Bottles disappeared. Profits vanished.
It wasn't theft.
Our biggest customer became our biggest problem.
I wouldn't call it a problem. He just likes to gooi a few with the boys.
The guys in the first team used to call him Camille.
Because he was so tall.
No, not Camille Per, Camille. He used to drink 200 liters of water in 3 minutes after practice, like a bloody camel.
Is this true, Jeppe?
Yeah, most of that is true. I am thirsty.
Hier kom my bokser. Kiwis? Anna? Maar waar is die Anna? Wow, wow! Ek sê mos, wow! Bring vir my die boks.
Okay, so. The courier guy, the courier behind the box.
Can you deliver something for me?
Where to?
Hy wys vir my. Put this one in the Springs box.
Look at man. Hey, winner.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. It's that time of the week where we pick our jersey of the week from the old school collection that's ever growing behind me here. I think, Cooks, we've chosen Affies, Jeppe. For once, we don't have Sput wearing the Affies jersey, but...
I think it does look good on me. I mean, I must chat to Neil and Rowan to organise me one, but great game of rugby yesterday. And obviously pipping them, I thought today would be fitting to finally get it off Sput, who was loving it. So let me give Affies some love after a win yesterday.
Sput, I'm surprised you're not wearing one of the Free State jerseys after their fantastic derby this weekend, or you're only allowed to wear the Grey College one when it arrives.
Yeah, look, it's tough wearing something else in the Free State, you know.
Okay.
But Michaelhouse for their victory, which I got wrong in the picks. It's the second time this year that I'm wearing it. And it is a beautiful, beautiful specimen of an old school jersey. Although, you know, I do spend a bit of time traveling, so it does look like a wetsuit currently. But we'll fix that in the gym. But just quickly touching on that Free State derby. You know, it's a lot gets spoken about the Pole derby, where a town is divided into two. Then you get the Middelburg derby. You get the Uppington derby. But I'll tell you what, I've been to Krugersdorp, massive. We saw that 2 weeks ago. But I've been to a few Bethlehem derbies, Betas. You know, Eastern Free State, lovely, quaint little town. It gets so cold there in winter time. You know, it's nestled in between the mountains and stuff. It gets very, very cold. It's almost en route to the Drakensberg from Bloemfontein. But anyhow, Wittenberg, second year in a row on Derby Day that they pip Bethlehem Voortrekker right at the death. And obviously now Bethlehem Voortrekker will feel it's 2 years in a row where Wittenberg scores late in that derby to win. And this year, it has to be said, Wittenberg were slight favourites for the game, but Voortrekker at a stage led by 11. And they've been to NMI Toyota Noord-Zuid this year, they've been to Absa Willeklavе this year, you know, so they're starting to tour, they're starting to talk with the big boys. So for them, it'll be a very, very tough loss for Justin Taylor and Dries Pretorius and the guys involved there. But kudos to Wittenberg for getting a second win in a row in a derby that traditionally Voortrekker has the rub of the green. So, yeah, great advertisement for Free State Rugby and Free State Schoolboy Rugby.
Cool. Now it's your favourite time of the week. The picks. The picks. 2 out of 5 last week.
Who's called Transvalia, whatever the picks are.
Just something that quickly crosses my mind, because we say commiserations with Justin Taylor and the guys, but to Christo van der Nest and the boys at Wittenberg, I think it's a Sunday, it's a big bride day. They're carrying on with the bride from last night.
72%, 67% for to pick this week. Hopefully looking to push those percentages up. Cooks, if you even get one over Sput, it makes within huge. Within two, you're already within 2. But if you get one, you're within 1. If you get 2, you're there.
It is a big weekend, but traditionally, whenever the big weekends come, you know, I got the rub of the green. So let's just continue with that. Right.
Yeah, Cooks is still the owner of the red cap 2 weeks in a row. STC Noordvaal Cup, Waterkloof, R.G. Jansen.
Waterkloof.
Easy start then.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Not easy. No, nothing is easy.
Nothing is easy, but we've got one of the big calls of the season.
Yeah.
You've got Waterkloof all the way, so okay. King Price Derby Series then. Rondebosch, Wynberg being played on Friday morning instead of Saturday. Let me just see if the Rondebosch jersey's here.
Rondebosch jersey. It's at Bosch. This is going to be the big one.
Just in case, if you pick Weinberg, tell me to my face. I'm just.
It's a big one. And I think it's going to be the same way. Bosch is not doing the Grand Slam this year, and I think they run in on Friday. Weinberg.
Wow. It's your big call of the season, Sputz, that Rondebosch will do the Grand Slam. So you're going to go against your big call for the sake of one pick?
It is.
Or you're going to stick with your big call?
Here's the battle. Ronald John Davids, Yakin Ahmed. Although it's 12 and 13, who wins that battle?
Yeah.
Weinberg pushed Bosch all the way. Paul Boyzai all the way. At home. That's the thing. At home. Josh Neal has been good, but he owes Bosch a Grand Slam winning performance, and it can only win the Grand Slam if they beat Weinberg. So he's the talk of the town, and then sometimes not necessarily by choice, that sort of distracts then a player because it's about his future, where is he going, where is he... I'm taking the long route to explain why I'm backing Bosch at home to beat Weinberg. Because of a couple of players owing Bosch a massive performance, a match-winning performance. That is Josh Neal. That is what he does. And Randall John Davis as well. They struck form against Boland Landbou. They'll continue that at home, and they'll beat Weinberg by 4 to 7 points.
As much as I want to see you catch Sput's score down here, Cooks.
Not like this.
Not like this. not with this one. Cool. Northwood, Hilton.
They get tougher and tougher. So what lead the way?
Northwood.
No,
at home.
Yeah, it's at Northwood.
It's tight.
We really need game show music for this.
I mean, it's tight. I mean, Hilton's been very good, and Northwood's also had a good season. Probably the battle to probably the second best side after. I mean, there's a big battle between those 2 years ago, the DHS Westfield, but Hilton and Northwood have had a good year this year, and Hilton.
He's going for the comeback here. You've never led in the stats. After this weekend, you've already gone 2 differently. Those 2 go in your favour.
I'm back to making big calls, Alex.
Okay.
I'm back to making big calls.
Well, the last one then for today, Westville, Coast.
Westville.
Yeah.
It's Coast is coming along, but Westville
are the kings of Queensland as we're
flying at the moment.
So, all right. Well then,
I'm a human big call. Westville when was the game this year?
No, Westville's fine. Westville's fine now for the run-in.
They have about 4 or 5 games left. I can't see them losing again.
The big...
Xander Rasmus will hate me now because I put all this pressure on them.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and that's why I left the studio last week a little bit concerned about me and Cooks going the same way. You know what I'm saying? Because it is 2 very big calls to make. Northwood, Hilton, Bosch, Weinberg. Can very easily go Hilton's way, it can very easily go Northwood's way, it can very easily go Weinberg's way. Yeah. And splitting that, I feel very, very confident in the 2 picks I've made. So leading by 2, then leading by 4, it becomes a very comfortable run-in after Craven Week. Then I know I'll be in the lead at Craven Week.
I think what also could happen is that those calls go 1-1. If we look at what happened last week, could have 2 out of the 4, 1 out of the 4. We'll see.
No, I'll be back with a 4 out of 4. It's time.
To summarize those picks then, Waterkloof, RG Janssen, Waterkloof, both of you said Waterkloof. Rondebosch, Weinberg, your splits. Northwood, Hilton, your split. Westville, Kearsney, you've both said Westville.
Wow.
So we're feeling good about those picks. Which one, if you had to choose one that you're, let's say, the least confident in, each of you, that you're worrying about, or are you just confident?
I'm stressed about. My picks are tough. I mean, I'm going about the way south to go do a job, but I feel confident about it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about backing Northwood in the sense that I almost feel that they're currently going through a bit of a dip. But then you always know with quality sides, the dip is only that long, you know.
Yes.
So they lose focus maybe for a week or 2 weeks, and they went down to Jeppe, you know. But then and then Hilton always seems to be involved in close games, but once again, not always on the winning side of it. And Northwood over the last few years have snack a few close ones. So I feel worried yet confident. And in my Bosch pick, I just feel there's a couple of players owing a big one.
Yeah.
You know, owing a standout performance. And I think they'll be tough to beat at home, especially looking at their record over the last 2 years in the southern suburbs, and they'll want to protect that.
Right. Well, Cooks, the red cap has stayed with you this week because there was no change, and you guys obviously went the same on everything, so you were going to draw either way. Red cap's up for grabs next week. Percentages, bragging rights, bit of I wouldn't say ego, but pride.
No, but red is one of my favorite colors, and red is definitely one of my favorite colors. So
we're going to see.
I do miss the cap.
You missed the cap. Okay, well, we'll see. And Spud, I'm hoping to see you down at Rondebosch commentating for the first time on Friday. If we can make that work, that will be quite exciting.
Yeah, it will be, and it's one of those bucket lists left on the bucket list of the schoolboy game, and I've been incredibly privileged over the last few years to get almost to every province, but down south in the southern suburbs spot,
haven't been there yet. And now at least all the Weinberg people know that you've picked Rondebosch, so that's nice. We're going to take a quick break now. When we come back, all that we have left to do is ask the ref and the impossible truth. See you in a bit.
We were lost for 3 days. I told him to ration the water, but he somehow went and drank every last drop in the first hour. I have a family.
We urge the public to remain calm. There is no leak. However, we have identified a thirsty individual who's responsible for this water crisis in the Western Cape.
You almost left Brackenfell for Waterkloof just because of the name. Almost.
Jason, is this true?
Yeah, that's true. I am thirsty.
Some things you don't choose. They choose you. A name, a history, a legacy that came long before you and will last long after you're gone. It's not just about the game. It's the moments that shape you. The early mornings, the long bus rides, the chants that never fade. The friendships, the rivalries, the feeling of being part of something bigger. It's a belonging, something you carry with you wherever you go. Because once you're a part of it, you always will be.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. All we have left to do is ask the ref and the impossible truth. Now, for Ask the Ref, I was going to bring some clips from my Paarl Boys Stellenberg second team game that I had on the weekend. But then, post Jeppe Affies, seeing all these messages online, Dale Jackson's wonderful letter that he wrote to the old boys, and I was seeing lots of messages about the final penalty and it being a controversial end to the game. And obviously a lot of what I do on social media is posting explanations about laws and about decisions to try and get rid of controversy when they shouldn't be. And this is exactly one of those situations, because I went and then watched the game, went and watched that final moment. And I'm genuinely actually quite surprised by how many people don't know that if a player knocks on the ball and a teammate in front of them immediately plays it, it's a penalty. I was actually quite surprised.
Yeah, I want to weigh in there. Absolutely no controversy over the last penalty.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. 100% the correct decision by Christo Erasmus. I think where there was controversy from spectator sides and from people watching, especially if they were watching on the stream, is time was at 0.
Yeah.
Before the last kickoff. All right. But here's the crux of the matter. The referee was well mic'd and was well audible on the TV broadcast and on the stream. So Chris Erasmus was very good at saying how much time was left to the players. Because remember, whether a clock is at 0 at the ground or on the TV screen, the referee has the official time.
Yeah.
And has the official say. So if his watch said there was a minute left, and then there was a drop goal from the Emil Hollenbach, but that was inside of that minute, meaning even if there was 7 seconds left, and Alex must help me here.
Yes.
Kickoff must take place.
Yeah, so I can actually, and the drop goal, it's an interesting one. The time is taken from the strike on the ball. So when he kicks it is when the time's taken. So it could even still take 2 seconds before it goes over.
Yes.
And the reason that's done is for the referee to judge the exact moment it goes over or misses, and that's too vague.
Yeah.
We take time from the strike on the ball. If there's still time left, then we must.
So there was a call at a stage from Erasmus saying 1 minute left.
At that restart.
Yes.
And then they got the drop goal within that minute.
Yes. So if that drop goal then happened within the minute, which I cannot say whether it did or did not, but according to Erasmus it did, then another kickoff gets awarded. And you've often seen games finished literally by the guy catching the kickoff and kicking it out.
Yes.
Because that was the last action of the game.
And it's an interesting one as well. It also happened, I saw there was an example in the Sharks match yesterday as well. But it's always been the case. If a player knocks on the ball and a teammate in front of them then plays it, they're offside. And what they've done is prevent the team from using advantage. So then it's seen as cynical. It's why the penalty is then given. We don't just say, okay, no, we go back to the knock-on. And it's not just if you play the ball. It actually also technically is, even if Affies pick up the ball, if you're offside and you immediately make the tackle, which happens a lot less, this is usually how we see this penalty, then you're also liable to sanction. But it's not even a controversial, debatable thing. Right. It gets a bit more blurred if the player doesn't grab it, they're just standing there, then it's an accidental offside, so then it's a scrum. Or if they sort of put their hands on it, then leave it, but here he grabbed it, and it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate way to end, but it's not wrong.
The funny thing is, you get some players, for example, who see that knock on, because I remember having a debate with the mate once. If we were watching a Sharks game, and the Sharks player would knock on. But then the guy in front of him put his hands up.
Yes.
But as he put his hands up, the opposition was coming, but blocked. It was like in the referee penalty. Yeah. And the guy, the parade from my hands up. He's like, but you're still in position to be blocking someone.
Yeah.
So
you moved in the way.
You moved in the way. So it's still, because sometimes in certain players, like guys go, maybe some guy goes, but like my hand is up. So I'm fine. They're like, it's
like when you're running back and you're woefully offside and you put your hand but sir, my hands up. Yeah, but you're coming from 50 meters behind.
But yes, run straight into the ball. And that's the thing, people forget that the law doesn't say you're just offside at a kick. It says if you're in front of a teammate who last played the ball.
Yeah.
Right call. Yeah. Right call from Chris Erasmus, 100%. Like I say, for me, I think the controversy comes more from whether there should have been another kickoff after the drop goal. And there, once again, whether right or wrong, it's not for me to say. Whether right or wrong is not for me or for Cooks who was there or for anybody to say. But what was right was the fact that he was communicating the time all the time to the two captains and to the front rows at every scrum saying 6 minutes. I heard him starting to call it at 6 minutes.
Yeah, it went 6.
Because then 4. Because then you at every scrum you would hear and say how much time? Because at a stage, Affies was in the lead. Now they're anxious. And then Jeppe's in the lead, so they're anxious. So I can understand the controversy. I can understand the sadness. It was a massive moment. It was for the 18th match. It could have been the first victory. The passion, the pride that the black and white Jupes have. And social media creates a safe haven for a storm to break out.
Yes.
Because you can go, I don't agree. But being at the venue, my opinion was it was actually very well handled by Christy Erasmus.
Close games are always going to, whenever it's a close game and there's emotion involved, there's going to be a build-up like that. And I think Dale Jackson, his letter, just saying the focus should be on the boys is really what it should be.
And the focus should be on what a tremendous performance was put in by both sides.
Yeah.
To create a spectacle, to create a contender for a schoolboy rugby season or match of the season, you need two protagonists, not one.
Yes.
Affies weathered one of the biggest storms somebody could give them. They weathered it, and they won it with a late penalty.
Yeah.
Jeppe, who's lost a few games this year, against sides far worse than Affies, put in a season-defining performance. And for their behalf, I'm extremely sad it didn't go their way. In the same end, I got to give kudos to Affies for the third time in 4 years when they're there, weathering a massive storm.
Absolutely.
And winning it.
It's going to be interesting next year. That fixture's turned into such an exciting one. The last thing to do, guys, is the impossible truth. This is where you each give me a statement. One is true, one is not. I have to figure out which is which. I'm sitting at 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So I'm at 60%, which is just
great. On a current 3, you've lost 3 in a row.
Yes, and thanks.
So you were
I was 6 out of 7.
6 out of 7 at a stage.
And then,
jeez. So people were starting to trust you and trust your opinion and stuff. And then...
and they lost. Just put, was I lead the way?
I think, let me lead the way.
Okay.
Let me lead the way.
And mind game's already started, because I don't know if there's a reason behind this already.
So the Collard field of Jeppe,
yes,
is named after Jack Collard, who coached their first side from 1942 to 1961, and he also taught science at Jeppe.
There's like 4 facts in there.
So,
oh my gosh.
Sharks, Munster, man of the match, Ethan Hooker, Westphal Old Boy. If he becomes amazing, when he becomes a Springbok this year, he will be the second Westphal Old Boy to become Springbok after Wayne and Murray.
Geez, both of those statements have so many facts in them, and just one of them could be...
Nobody said it has to be easy.
No, I know.
Here comes Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
I should rewrite the rules.
Go to your instinct.
Main
You had an instinct there.
I did. So should I just say this week?
I think just shout it out, because Trivial Pursuit is not working currently.
Okay,
so.
I think Sputs is true.
Oh man, Sport Jets 4 in a row. We've got him. We've got him again.
I'm going to get rid of this game.
So I have to
at the moment.
I have to be honest. I mean, we did properly bully you this week, because we did go double loaded facts, because everything of my statement was true, but he was a physical education teacher, not a science teacher.
And do you know by instinct when you said science? But
it was the way I looked you in the eyes.
Maybe Sputs changed like that one thing. Damn.
Oh, I'm so happy.
But I must say,
it's 4 in a row now. We're in a row now.
I must say, if I can come up forward, it is. I know it's gone wrong 4 weeks in a row, but
it went right 6 weeks.
Yeah, it went. Yeah. That was amazing, actually, because the way we're bringing it to you becomes tougher every week. But what I do like, and I do almost want to make a suggestion between the three of us, is that we keep it as topical as we've done over the last couple of weeks, because we literally take something of that weekend.
I was doing better before you made it.
So you need to spend some more time on the app on Saturday.
Do you know what I did last week? When this show was in edit, I went and got this clip, this segment of the show, and I watched it over and over to watch both your faces.
Try and see if there's a tell.
To watch your faces to see if there was a tell, and I thought I had it, and no, I didn't.
No, you see, the thing is, I do play a bit of poker in the spare time, so poker face.
No. Okay.
You're not going to get something there.
Right, well, we've all gone down this week then in our percentages. I'm nearly now at 50%, so if I have to get it right next week, I will be at 50%.
Well, he speaks to the editors. We speak to the executive producer, and word from him is if it gets to 40, then the petitions will start to be written and stuff, because then we'll have to make some choices, you know.
Well, last week I said I hope you guys get all of your picks wrong when you said that. So you nearly did.
That was harsh.
Let's second time lucky. All right, that's all we have time for on this week's episode of Rugby on 216. New episodes air every Tuesday at 7 on SuperSport Schools Channel 216 and SABC Plus. We're now also on SuperSport Rugby and Variety 3 and Variety 4. Repeats on those channels throughout the week. We'll see you next time, but for now, bye-bye.